Doctor, the honors are yours.
Oh my God! He's black! Spider-Man is black!
Oh my God!
Random Black Guy!
What up everybody, Alpha here, aka Random Black Guy, aka Chocolate Face No Makeup, and this is my review for the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Movies, I love movies.
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a 2018 animated movie that is directed by Bob Persichetti, Peter Ramsey, and Rodney Rothman. And this movie is starring Shameik Moore, Jake Johnson, Hailee Steinfeld, Mahershala Ali, Nicolas Cage, and Chris Pine. And the plot of the movie is Miles Morales, voiced by Shameik Moore, becomes the Spider-Man of his reality after something happens to Peter Parker, voiced by Chris Pine. He realizes soon that other Spider-Mans exist from other dimensions, and now they all have to fight the evil Kingpin. I had the opportunity to see an early screening of this movie, and I'm really thankful that I did, that you guys gave me the opportunity. You already know who you are, cause this movie is... You think I will tell you what I think about this movie already? So let me go through my good, bad, and ugly so I can really analyze and dissect this movie. Good. The animation is so stunning and impressive. I was just impressed of how the animation was in this movie. The animation in this movie, you've never seen this type of animation before. They do a great job of combining the CGI with the comic book style. It's like watching a real comic book come to life. Except doing videos, reviewing movies, I also work as an animator. So from an animator standpoint, watching this movie, this is something out of this world. I really wanted to come out with a behind the scene movie of this because I really want to see how the process went through. You can see the blood, sweat, and tear that went to this animation. You can see it on every frame. You see the passion, you see the love, you see the heart, and that's what I thought was so good about this movie. Like, I wanted to freeze frame every scene, so I can use it as a screensaver. That's how much I enjoyed the animation of this movie. It is beautiful, it is marvelous. And another thing I liked about this movie is Shameik Moore as Miles Morales. His voice matches so good with Miles Morales. When I think about Miles Morales, I think about Shameik Moore. Like, I wanted a guy who sounded exactly like Shameik. You know, Miles Morales as the protagonist in this movie, he is so likable. He is a relatable person. You know, goes through his everyday struggle in New York. But at the same time, you know, he has a lovable parents. You know, his dad voiced by Mahershala Ali, and his mom, who is the girl from Dexter. You know, you see how lovable they are as parents. They love Miles. And Miles, you know, he's relatable because he knows that he's different. He has a purpose with his life, and when he becomes Spider-Man, you understand why he was the chosen one. Everybody knows a person like Miles Morales. One thing I really appreciated with this movie is that Miles Morales did not fit to the typical stereotype when it comes to this movie. You know, when it comes to people of color, we are always boxed in this stereotype. Either we play gangsters or we play cops or something like that. Seeing an everyday guy or everyday teenager going through the stuff he's going through, you know, being in love, wanting to be accepted for who he is. This is a breath of fresh air. This is something different. And another thing I liked about this movie is Jake Johnson as Peter B. Parker. I'm not gonna say that much about him. I want you guys to understand who he is, but I like Jake Johnson as an actor. I think it's really, really funny. So I was a little bit afraid that he would be too funny in this movie. He is funny, but at the same time, he plays Miles Morales' mentor. He's the Spider-Man who ran out of his luck. And as much as Miles Morales needs Peter Parker needs Miles Morales. So the companionship with both Miles and Peter is good. I was a little bit afraid that I would be irritated with his voice, but his voice matched perfect with Peter Parker. And I was a little bit annoyed at first, but it went out the window really, really fast. And all through this movie, we have a solid cast that brings their A game. And I was so surprised by Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is playing Spider-Man Noir, and he's not that much in this movie, but he's pretty good. You know, this is the second time I can give Nicolas Cage kudos for voice acting, because he was in the Teen Titans movie, and he was playing Superman in that movie. And this movie, he plays Spider-Man. So, Nicolas Cage, man, I think you should do more voice acting. And another thing I really liked about this movie is its humor. This movie, it's so funny, man. It was a couple of times I laughed out loud. Like, I was laughing. I think people hated me because I was laughing. And this movie has a lot of reference to the other Spider-Man movies and the comic books and stuff like that. And I was just smiling because when I understood the reference, I was like, yes, 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 I understand that. Yes, oh, it's so great. Oh, it's so true. And I'm telling you, the humor is there. It is there. It's on point, man. And to your parents out there, don't worry about it. They have a lot of adult humor in this movie also. And another thing I really, really, really liked about this movie that I thought was so good, that this movie is 2 hours of fun, man. This is an enjoyable ride all through this movie. Even though, you know, some parts are a little bit weaker than others, it's still really fun. You will enjoy this. You know, 2 hours of animation. And after the credit came, I was like, what? That was quick. And another thing I liked about this movie is the story, the plot line of Miles Morales and everybody else who comes from other dimensions. It's different because you haven't seen a Spider-Man like this before, but it works really good. And the plot captivates you quick. And that's the good thing, because in a couple of minutes, you're already hooked in this movie. You're like, what is going on? I want to know more about this. I want to know more about what Miles Morales is going through. You want him to become the Spider-Man. And the music is also really, really good. The music helps building this world, or New York, in a great way. I think that Vince Staples is one of the artists, because I heard his voice in this movie. But I think Vince Staples is one of those artists who's in the soundtrack. Man, I had to cop the soundtrack because the soundtrack I thought it was really, really good. I was enjoying. It was a couple of times I was bobbing my head. I was like, yeah, oh man, this is so good. And another thing I really, really liked about this movie is what I said before. This movie has a lot of heart, love, and passion to the source material. It really feels like these guys who did the animation, the directors, the screenwriters, everybody are fans of Spider-Man. You can see all the love bleeding through this finished product. And I was smiling. I was grinning the whole time watching this movie, because this is how it is watching a movie from people who really love the source material. So I was so happy. I haven't seen a movie like this that surprised me that much since Lego Movie. And don't forget to stay through the end credit, because it's a funny scene after that. And the last thing that I thought was good with this movie is that this movie, like I said, it surprised the hell out of me. I enjoyed this movie a lot. This movie is hands down my favorite Spider-Man movie. Like, this is better than Spider-Man Homecoming. God, a lot of good stuff I said about this movie. I'm just been raving about this. I love this movie. So, I have to go through my bad also. It's not a lot of stuff, but let me go through my bad. This is mostly a rant, so let me do my Alfie rant. To you effing idiots out there, stop being narrow-minded, okay? For 16 years, you had 7 Spider-Man movies. 7 Spider-Man movies, okay? With Peter Parker, a white Peter Parker. And in this movie, you have 2 white Peter Parkers in this movie. So I don't understand why a lot of people are mad that Miles Morales, a black kid, is the protagonist. I just don't understand being mad to saying stuff like stop the race agenda. Come on, man. This is an enjoyable movie. This is a great movie. Just have fun. Just shut up, sit, enjoy this movie, give this movie a chance. I don't understand why you have to do that. Saying stuff like, I don't want to see this movie because they have an N-word as a protagonist. It's just sickening, man. It got me pissed when I saw that. And a lot of people who saw early screening of this movie were either enjoying this or loving this. What are you talking about? Stop being thick-headed. Stop being narrow-minded. Just enjoy the movie for what it is. Anyways, that was my rant. I just had to say that. Anyways, my first bad is about Spider-Ham. Spider-Man voiced by John Mulaney. I love that character a lot. He was probably one of the funniest, but he wasn't in this movie a lot. I wanted more from him. He was so funny. He made a great impact in this movie, but he wasn't in this movie a lot. No, you're teasing me with this awesome character. Why? I wanted so much more from him. I felt that he was there as a tease, and then he was gone. So John Mulaney as Spider-Ham, I wanted more from him.
My name is Peter Porker.
Spider-Ham, Spider-Ham, friendly neighborhood Spider-Ham. Spins a web, that's the gig. Kinda weird cause he's a pig. Look out, here comes the Spider-Ham.
And my last bad thing is that I thought the villain, Kingpin, voiced by Liev Schreiber, the voice actor of Liev was good, but the character of Kingpin in this movie was pretty generic. This movie is mainly focusing on Spider-Mans and not that much of the villains, but I wanted a little bit more like understanding. Okay, we already know why Kingpin is doing the stuff he does, but I just felt that I wanted a more explanation of his reasoning. If it was like this, it was just quick. He was there, he was being evil. That was pretty much it. But that's it. You know, that was me being nitpicky. So it wasn't a lot of bad stuff about this movie at all. It was a rant and 2 bad stuff. So let me go through my ugly when it comes to the ugly stuff of this movie. I have nothing ugly to say about this movie. This movie is an enjoyable movie. I have fun. This is one of the most surprisingly good movies of this year. I had fun watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. So my rating of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is 4 out of 5. This is probably going to be on my favorite movies of this year. This is one of my favorite, hands down, animated movie of 2018. And Sony, I know you've done a lot of misses. A good example is Venom, but this is a hit. So good job, Sony. Anyways, guys, that was my review of the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Have you guys seen the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Do you guys want to see the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? Do you guys not want to see that movie? Write your comments down below and let me know. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so every time I upload a new video, you will be the first to see it. Anyways, guys, that was my review of the movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And to you guys out there, I'm giving you out there. Peace.
Random black guy.